Hey guys, what's up? It's Greg Srasvasti with the Cinematics and Find Your Film podcast. Here's my interview with filmmakers TordDanielsson and Oskar Mellander. They're the filmmakers behind this horror thriller that I really enjoyed called The Evil Next Door. Centers on a stepmother who's a little bit uncaring at the beginning. She moves into a new duplex with her soulmate. She is trying to take care of her stepson. Unfortunately, she doesn't really have a great maternal instinct from the get-go. Heightening those problems is a supernatural force that might be residing in the duplex. And when the father of the house, her soulmate, decides to leave, well, he doesn't decide to leave. He needs to make money. He's on site for a job. He has to leave them for a while. That leaves the stepmom and stepson, he's just a little kid, probably maybe 7 or 8 at the most, leaves him alone to deal with his haunted house. And there you can see it probably goes. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these horror thrillers where possibly the son gets possessed by some kind of demonic spirit, or, you've seen this kind of thing before. The good thing about The Evil Next Door is it bends those tropes in a different way, in a different fashion. And I talk about the bending the tropes a little bit in this interview I have with TordDanielsson and Oskar Mellander. Okay, really interesting movie. As of this recording, is currently out on demand stateside. A caveat to this. As much as I really enjoyed the movie, my Find Your Film co-hosts Eric Holmes and Bruce Perky, they both gave this movie a mixed review. What's interesting about The Evil Next Door is it doesn't, in my opinion, follow the safe route. There's a really interesting third act, which can, I'm sure, divide a lot of fans or non-fans of this movie. I bought the ending, really enjoyed it. If you're a fan of this movie and want to listen to them talking about why they came to that decision regarding the climax of the film, check out our Cinematics Patreon. I will give you the link below on our YouTube comments. And that's it. I'm trying to think of anything else to plug. But thank you so much for being part of this Deepest Dream YouTube channel. If you want more movie reviews, movie interviews, and down the line, more TV interviews as well from me, please like and subscribe to the Deepest Dream YouTube channel. And also thank you again for supporting me and Anderson Cowan on Cinematics, and me, Bruce Perky, and Eric Holmes on the Find Your Film podcast. That's where all of the movie stuff happens. And I'll be posting a lot more YouTube content and YouTube interviews here under the umbrella of the Deepest Dream YouTube channel. Most importantly, out of all that stuff, would love to hear what you think about The Evil Next Door. Did this movie work for you, or were you not on board whatsoever? And did you find it cliched and all that stuff? I love this movie, The Evil Next Door, and would love to hear some differing opinions, or hopefully, to be honest, I hope everyone loves this movie, but the more different opinions, the better. I think it gives a full, well-rounded discussion for any type of film, especially a movie that, for me, like this movie has a lot of familial themes on family, unconditional love, wrapped up within this whole supernatural enigma entity situation. So that is The Evil Next Door. I'm blabbing. Here's my interview with Oskar Mellander and TordDanielsson. Thank you guys so much, and take care. First off, I have a question from my podcast co-host, and he wanted to know, since this movie is, quote, based on a true story, he wanted to know the ratio of what is real, what is not. I guess without giving too much away, right?
Oh, the ratio. It was... This was inspired by something that allegedly, I should say, happened to a family up north in Sweden a few years back. And we got their story, and no child was killed or snatched or something like that. But they had a really bad experience, and the husband in the family didn't believe this. And eventually, he also came to believe that some kind of entity was trying to get their kid. So they actually left that house and moved out. And me personally, I don't know what to believe. They were just an ordinary family, like everyone else, and they had this experience. And for me and Oskar, I think that shook us a bit, because they seemed normal, and it seemed like such a scary experience to be in. And that combined with me living in a duplex, having the experience of neighbors moving out and the empty side of the house, suddenly hearing noises from the empty side of the house when no one was living there. And I never got an explanation for the steps I heard coming through the walls from the stairs on the other side. probably was just neighbors, the new neighbors taking measures or whatever, but they were doing that very late at night. And I was first thinking it's my own kids coming down the stairs, and then realized, no, it's someone walking on the other side. So all these things combined, I mean, okay, it's the ratio is 50 50. I don't know.
50-50.
I think we're both really rational people, and if you ask us, none of us believes in ghosts. When the walls creak, we both get just as scared. Actually, that's.
And I mean, also that, I mean, the stories we heard, I mean, they seemed like normal people, ordinary everyday people, and that was. I don't believe in it, maybe, but something's. They were scared.
But if I heard it, I would be insanely scared. That's
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of the many things I loved about your film is the characterization of Shirin. And can you guys talk about writing that character and having the right actor play that character? Because it's one of these things, I think it's a brave move on both of your parts to actually have the audience follow a character who from the outset is just really, in my opinion, just very unlikable. And I really loved, without giving too much away, the arc that you guys really built out for her and the overall story. Can you just talk about approaching it in that very, I think, courageous way?
Yeah, we were so worried that she would appear really unlikable. Actually, it's funny that you say that, because I think we found the balance, but that's something that bothered us for months. I think we were so scared, and we almost changed things with her to make her likable. On another side of her life, and so you could have both things, but fortunately enough we took that out. But I mean
we had to fight for that character arc in the editing process as well, because I mean some feedback from like producers and executive producers and stuff was like, she's too unlikable, the audience won't accept this, but we stuck to it. And I think a lot of it it's on the page, but it's also so much Dilan Gwyn taking this character to heart and accepting, like, she has to start out here and have this journey in order for it to become like this compelling story. So it's so much
she really
her
did
as well.
that work. Yeah, she really did that
she
work.
did the work. Yeah,
and like with these small means, I mean, there's no giant scene where she rescues a dog, or there's nothing. So it's just these tiny things that we wrote, and then she had to make them really believable and real. And that was a challenge, but she did it better than we could have imagined, I think.
On my final question, I have like 30 seconds, but can you guys very quickly talk about making your house, the horror trope is to make a house very claustrophobic, but you were talking about duplex. Can you talk about building that world and expanding the actual dimensions, which I think really actually elevated the quote unquote trope, and then also not sacrificing your color design, your color palette. You make it in a way, you do it in a drab, washed out fashion, which I thought was perfect. And these are both very risky, gambles, which I thought worked. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we actually did that in a quasi-scientific way. The corridor is longer than the house, than any Swedish duplex could be. It's like 12 meters. No house is that big, but we actually tried it out in 3D with the exact lens and enlarged it enough to work in, but not as much as you could tell that it was bigger. But when you walked around there, it was bigger. But when you saw it in the camera, it was. So we tried all those things out. We did a big, because we had so little money. There was no margin for error in those things. So we.
And I think also we were aiming for this like Scandinavian style, like very very light colors, what do you call it? Avskalat.
Minimalistic and
minimalistic,
style.
Like playing with that notion of how Scandinavian design or homes look like, and we wanted that feeling for it. Like it should be very like a new home, but also inviting. And then we put horror in there.
Great. Thank you guys so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and I really love your film. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.